Hey guys, time for another video for week 3 of our futsal training. So I thought I'd just cover off some of the terminology and I think that we should probably start talking about the same terminology that Taylor's been teaching us. So target equals a forward position, which would have normally been Heather's role. So I know he talks a lot about not having positions, but the positions he does talk about is target, flanker and pivot. So the first one, target, that's normally the forward position. So in that diamond shape would be the forward role is target. Flanker is the two mid or wings positions. So usually that would be myself or Jill in those roles. And they're the two people on the left and right wings. And then the pivot is the back position. So that's usually Bridget, Sherry-Ann, Cynthia or Teresa. And that person's sort of in that, the pointy end, the back. So there's sort of the three positions. I thought I'd start using those words just so we can start getting used to them. So some of the other tips that he mentioned was when we're passing, we gently pass the ball on the ground and along the channel 2 feet. So not too hard, but not too soft. So we really need to focus on our passing and making sure that it's a good pass and an accurate pass for the person who's receiving the ball. Come to the ball. So I don't know if you've heard me say come to the ball a lot. So when the ball is being played to you, you move towards the ball. So don't just stand there and wait for the ball or wait to receive it because someone can always intercept. If the ball is coming to you, the person who's about to receive the ball should come to the ball and meet the ball. We also need to use our width. So the flankers need to be standing right on the edges of the line. Quite often we don't do that. So almost just be right on the line because that opens up the space and it means that the targets and the pivots have more space to play the ball, in that space. Kick at the back of your instep, so the hard bit of your foot. So I think we should keep on remembering that's technically the right way to kick the ball. Control the ball with the sole of your foot. And, take a touch and shoot. So some of those drills last night, it's probably best, we're not quite at that stage maybe where we can shoot first time. We should shoot first time if possible. But if you're not feeling comfortable, just take a touch and then shoot. Okay, then the first thing that we did last night was the corners. And we did 2 setups for attack. We did setup 1 and setup 2. So this is setup 1, and the setup 1 is the way that we position the field. So we have the target at the back post, which is here. We have the pivot in the same channel as the corner kicker, so here. So when we talk channel, this is the channel. We have the flanker on the far wing opposite the corner. So you can see there's all this space here in the middle, and all of the defenders are going to be in here. So what we're trying to do is just create space for us to move into. And then, of course, he's the other flanker with the ball here at the corner. So what we do with this play is the flanker gently and accurately passes the ball to the pivot along the channel, close to the line and to the right foot of this player. The pivot moves forward towards the ball and kicks into the goal. Then here the target is at the back post waiting for the scraps because, probably a lot of the times, we might be too wide, which means the target's there to receive the ball. So if we look at that in the animation, we've got the ball moving forward, the pivot, or this position, is moving forward to meeting the ball, so they're coming to the ball, and then that ball goes for a shot in here, and the target is at the back post waiting for the scraps. Obviously, there's this position out here. If this person gets crowded, she can always pass out here. Okay, so see that animation again. So the corner kicker kicks along the channel to the pivot then shoots for goal. The next setup is attack setup 2, and this was the one where the pivot makes the dummy run towards the goal. Okay, so this position is slightly different, so we could set up similar to the last one, but this flanker here, instead of being out here wide, would come right close to the pivot here. So same positions before, targets at the back post, pivots here, flankers here, other flanker takes the corner kick. So the pivot makes a run, a J run towards the goal, and the reason we say J run is because they go down here like this, to pretending to meet the ball, and then they cross over here, over to near the circle or the goal area. And what that's doing is opening the space for this flanker to come and meet the ball and shoot inwards. Okay, so if we see that animation, the flanker gently and accurately passes the ball to the flanker while moving towards the ball. You can see that the pivot's done a dummy run, and this flanker up here is moved here. The flanker then shoots. Whoops, it didn't work. Try that again. So the flanker corner kicker kicks the ball to the flanker, who's moved across to this position. The pivot has made a dummy run. They're calling for the ball at the same time going, yep, 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 yep. And then they make a dummy run. And then this person here then kicks the ball into the goal. Okay, so the next thing to look at is the corners, the defence. So what he did say is that we need to position ourselves in a Y position. So 2 players at the front here, a player in between and slightly behind to form this V, and then a player at the back post. The goalkeeper is then positioned in the middle. So what Taylor suggested is that this is sort of blocking off any chance of sort of scoring. We're protecting the centre of the goal. So probably what would happen is that the flankers would go here, the pivot would be in the middle, and the target would be here. So when we concede a corner, the goalkeeper should yell Y, and then we get into that Y formation. Then once we do that, we look around to find a player to mark once the ball's been kicked. So let's say that the players are positioned like this, the opposition players. Then we, this person would mark that person, this person would mark that person, this person would mark that person, and this person would mark that person. So all just be aware of, who you're going to mark in case the ball gets to them. But we stay still in this position until the ball's been kicked and we know, where it's going to land. Okay, kickoffs. Kickoffs are pretty simple. The target and the flanker is positioned on the halfway line. The other flanker is on the far wing on the line, so over here. And then the pivot straight behind. So, of course, we've always got to kick the ball forward. So the target should kick the ball to the pivot. The flanker. The flanker kicks back to the pivot, and then everybody moves into that diamond formation. So target kick forward to the forward. The flanker kicks back to the pivot, and everybody then moves into this diamond formation ready to go. And then the pivot has a chance to either take a run down the middle, they could pass to one of these flankers, etc. Now if the pivot takes a run towards the middle, like let's say that she passes to this person and then moves to the middle, then this person should drop back so that we're always trying to create that diamond shape. So it's really important to be aware of where everyone's positioned. So just do that one again. So that's target, roll the ball forward to the forward, and those 2 people need to stand really close together, these 2 people. The flanker kicks it back, straight back to the pivot, and then everybody moves into their diamond formation. So I hope that makes sense. Bit of a longer one, but we can have a talk about it next week. Okay, see you guys.